International fugitive and suspected serial killer Sharon Kine, discovered to have been hiding in rural southern Alberta as a realtor Deidre Glabis for nearly 50 years, and says she died in 2022. In 1960, an Independence, Missouri housewife named Sharon Kine was charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of her husband James Kine and the wife of one of her lovers, Patricia Jones. Hold up, I'm confused. The wife? Wait, Sharon. Oh, Sharon might not have been married. Wait, they got the same last name now. It says her husband and of the wife of one of her lovers, Patricia Jones. Okay, let me just keep reading and it might make sense after that. In 1960, an Independence, Missouri housewife named Sharon Kine was charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of her husband, James Kine, and of the wife of one of her lovers, Patricia Jones. While she was out on bail awaiting retrial, she traveled to Mexico and killed American Francisco Paredes Ordonez in her hotel room, apparently after luring him there to rob him. She was convicted of his death and sentenced to prison, but escaped during a blackout in 1969. Of course she did. And was never seen again. U.S. officials nicknamed her Pistol Packing Mama, but to the Mexicans, she was La Pistolera. It says, yesterday, the Jackson County Sheriff's Office announced that Sharon Kine has spent the last 50 years of her life in the bucolic Canadian town of Tabor, Alberta, under the name Deidre Glabis, later Deidre L. She arrived in Tabor in 1973 and with her husband Jim Glabis as new owners of the Tabor Motel. She and Jim later became realtors before his untimely death. I'm going to put quotations there. Apparently of natural causes in 1979 at the age of 38. 3 years later, she married one Willie L., who died in 2011. Willie L. Oh, okay. Also, apparently of natural causes. Don't get in an argument with this woman. He volunteered with various organizations and was at one point the chairman of the Tabor Daycare, steering the committee. How ironic that a woman who murdered her husband because she wanted a life of glamour, wealth, and luxury he couldn't provide would end up in the least glamorous place on the planet. This has to be the most exciting thing to happen in Tabor since the last time corn harvest failed. Oh, then they probably put a joke at the end of it. Really? Oh, man. Okay. Comment under here. I guess before I comment. So it sounds like this woman couldn't get what she wanted, or because it sounds like, because I thought at first it was going to say like her husband's lover, but it didn't say her husband's lover up here. It says James Kine and of the wife of one of her lovers, Patricia Jones. Yeah, that's what it says. It says of one of her lovers. It didn't say the husband's lover, unless I'm just reading that wrong. It says she was charged on 2 counts of murder in the deaths of her husband, James Kine, and of the wife of one of her lovers, Patricia Jones. It sounds like if she wasn't getting what she wanted, it's over for you. But geez, okay. One comment. This might be the only comment I read. This is a lot. I came here from searching her name. I knew her for years as D. Oh, this person knows her. Oh, this makes it better. I knew her years as D. I'm in shock. I knew her about the last 10 years of her life. This is so effing wild. I've been up all night reading about this. There was never a clue about her past. As far as I knew, she only had one son in Toronto, and she had bad dementia in the end. And then they put an edit. I've received a lot of inquiries about her, so here's a quick note. She had a strong personality and stark white hair, and the age progression photo doesn't resemble her. However, the mugshot where she's looking directly at the camera and the candid looking photo of her in a green shirt are spot on. Her face didn't change much over time. She never gave any hints about this, but she definitely had a bold personality, and I honestly really enjoyed her. I don't remember her ever mentioning this, but now I'm wondering if she might have brought it up in her last couple of years and dismissed it as confusion due to her dementia. This has been a lot to process. Deeply unsettling to realize I spent time with someone capable of these things and had no idea. The press conference labeled her as the most elusive serial killer of all time. It leaves me feeling incredibly uneasy. But the thing, okay, so, and I say the same thing about a lot of these crimes that happen. Okay, if it's 50 years and this lady died before they even knew she was, if it's been 50 years after and you find somebody, this person has lived most of their life out already. So, okay, you put them in jail and whatnot, which, okay, they deserve jail for, the crimes that they did. They still had 50 years to live and 50 years of prime living at that point. So it's not going to be the same like putting somebody in jail like when they're 20, when they're like 15, and you put them in a jail. Let's just say even 20 years. Prime years we're talking about right there. It's a totally different scenario that we're talking. If you put somebody like one of our last cases, the guy over Ireland that he was working with the FBI because one of the FBI members was one of his boys. Yeah, I was like, they didn't find him until he was 80. Okay, like at that point, I've lived most of my life. Of course, I don't want to be in jail, but would I rather be in jail? Would I rather be in jail from 20 to 40? Or would I rather be in jail from 70 to 90? If I had to pick, I would go 70 to 90. I don't know how much time I have left, to be honest with you. And I would assume not that much, but from 20 to 40, those are probably going to be the best years of my life if I had to take a guess. So I don't know. That's my thought about this thing. When I keep saying 50 years have gone by, we haven't found somebody. 40 years have gone by. I'm like, yeah, this person has lived most of their life. In this scenario, this person knew the killer, but didn't realize who she was. And honestly, she said she knew her the last 10 years of life. Yeah, she was more than likely a changed woman at that point because she couldn't do half of the things that she could do when she was younger. If just on my guess, she probably, she still had a bold personality, but she couldn't really get up and off people like she was in the beginning. Sounds like she was poisoning people, and then it would be listed as natural causes, but or she was a scientist. I don't know. She really didn't have much background into her for real. But I don't know, man. These that's the thing when they don't find these people and then they find them years later. I know if the family's still alive, there probably is some closure or something there, just knowing they found the killer. But for me, just thinking about it, they can't. If they go to jail at 80, they can't do anything. They probably weren't doing anything anyway. And let's just say this lady was still alive. This lady has dementia at this point. She don't unless she gets back. If she slips back into her right mind, it's probably a few minutes. Let's just say it's an hour, and it's usually not that long. And she slips back into her right mind, and then she's back out of it again. Not really, and depending on how bad it is, probably truly doesn't remember who she is or what she even did in the past. So that's why this person's like, hey, you knew her. Everybody under the comments say, hey, you knew her. What was she like? What was she like? She probably, I haven't read the comments. I'm going to take a guess that she already said she had a bold personality, but she probably is going to like, yeah, I was a friend. She probably told crazy stories, had a good time with her if I had to take a guess. Oh man, somebody puts she doesn't respond. She hasn't responded. Yeah, but this is very interesting. Yeah, that would be my whole thing about this. Yeah, somebody puts a whole article under here, and should I even read it? Okay, this is the only comment I'm gonna read because this one I don't even know if it's relevant or not, but I'll let everybody else figure out as I read this thing. I always ask this question in situations like this one. Recently, I discovered a female academic over in the Balkans who interviewed Nadia Sakic, where she died. If you know anything about World War II in Yugoslavia, you probably heard about her husband Dinko Sakic. He was one of the commandants of the notorious Jasenovac, maybe? Concentration camp. I'm not really aware, but I'm learning. Concentration camp. Really a combination of sub-camps. And Nada was a camp guard at Stara Gradiska, which was a concentration solely for women and children. Yeah, for women and children. Nada was also the half-sister of V. Lubric, because Viejo Slav Lubric, I don't know how to say. The guy who ran the camps at the highest level and who was responsible for the murder of at least 100,000 Serbs, as well as thousands of Jews and Roma. She was able to interview Nada because Dinko and her were deported by Argentina and extradited to Croatia in 1998, where Dinko stood trial for war crimes. So after all that, all I wanted to ask her is if I decided to reach out and what was she like. I didn't reach out since I couldn't find recent social media posts from her. She was writing a book on the Mahabuzda Islamic, the woman who ran the women's section at the camp, and Nada closely worked with her. There's actually a famous photo of them together. It says famous to the original, this poster, wearing the Ustase uniforms. And those uniforms, the Ustase was the group of the Croatian ultranationalists, the Italian fascists, and the Nazis appointed to run Croatia. Okay. But what was, I done read all this. I might as well finish reading it now. It says, the overriding question is what she liked. The academic gave a brief rundown of her interviews in which she stated that Nada was very careful to obscure her own crimes. About Maja Buzdon, she said that she was a loyal member of the Ustase, which really in context of the camps means she killed a lot of Serbs. So did Nada. But she skated because the Croatian court said they couldn't prove her crimes. By the time Serbia issued an arrest warrant, she had already been dead for months. Bet you never heard of any of this stuff. If you outside the Balkans have. Now you know. Go into the rabbit hole and start spreading the word. More people need to know. Okay, maybe I just read something. Okay. Jeez, that done went down a rabbit hole. I thought it was about to tell me about how they knew the lady. It definitely didn't. I went down, whatever, ultra nationalist. I don't even know what that, Croatian ultra nationalist. I have no idea what that is. Okay, but I've given my bit on Sharon Kine. But